Hello and good day, Corey here. This is an update on my health and diet, which I am keeping all my video viewers informed on as I speak. It is June 27th, 2023. I'm currently 60 years old. As you can see here, I'm a piano professor on YouTube, if you didn't know that already. But over the past several months, I have been sharing with my viewers on my channel my health journey, which first included going on a carnivore style diet, which I am still on. It is not 100% carnivore by any means. I do eat some carbs, so it's not a no carb diet, but I've been eating a low carb to very low carb over the past 5 months right now. I began in February, actually February 5th, 2023, and it's June 27th as I speak here, as I mentioned. And it's been, it's my weight fluctuates, and actually what I've been doing over the past several months, over this whole period since February, is I've been tracking my weight every single day. And in March, I began a weightlifting program. Actually, in March, around the end of March, I began a more regimented exercise program, which I do something every day. I usually go to the gym 3 times a week, lift weights, and I do calisthenics and push-ups and things like that at home. And I'm very, very active now. A lot of exercise, a lot of resistance exercise, in addition to some shorter aerobic exercise like sprinting and that sort of thing. I don't do any long distance running anymore. Back in my early days, in my 20s, I was a marathon runner, but I don't do that anymore. I have some foot problems and I have recurring sciatica, as I mentioned before. Anyway, let me get to the point. It's very interesting because what I've been doing is I have been tracking every week, pretty much every 7 days. I take pictures of myself. And I've been doing this since I began my regular exercise program, my resistance training program in the latter part of March of this year. So I've only been really seriously working out with resistance training for 3 months now. It's only been 3 months. That's not to say that in the past I also did resistance training. So there have been periods in my life when I have been doing lots of weight training and lots of resistance training, but I went several years without doing that, and got a little flabby and lost a lot of muscle along the way. And so now at the age 60, I really want to reverse that. But it's really amazing that in this 3-month period, I have a picture from a photo from March 26th, and then I have a photo from June 27th. So essentially 3-month difference. Now, if you look at these pictures here up here on the screen, you can see that the left photo here, done 3 months ago, I was 183 pounds. And bear in mind that this is March 26th. Way back, well, not way back, actually in February 5th, okay, so only like about a month and a half before this, 90 days before this, I was 195 pounds. 195. So I was 12 pounds heavier than this. So if you can imagine, and unfortunately I don't have a photo from me then. It was before I started taking photos. So if you can imagine me being even 12 pounds heavier than when I was 183, then that difference is going to be really very pronounced. And that was beginning in February. Anyway, the best I can do is I can take this photo from March 26th and I can line it up with the one I just did this morning on June 27th. Now, I'm only 4 pounds lighter. So most people would think, let's say if you're not taking photos and if you're not tracking anything, if you're only tracking your weight and you're doing such a program, you will probably get very frustrated because you'll see the first weight if you're tracking just your weight but not your body composition. You'll see that, oh, I was 183 on March 26th. On June 27th, 3 months later, I'm 179. So I'm only 4 pounds lighter. And so the tendency of most people who are on diets and programs like this, who don't track it with photographs, get very disgruntled because, look, I only lost 4 pounds. I sweated every day, practically every day of some kind of exercise, resistance training, aerobic training, and all I have to show is 4 pounds. I only lost 4 pounds. But if you have photos, you can see a dramatic difference in body composition. In the photo to the left, my first photo here, it's pretty much straight like this. You can see a definite more V taper in the photo on the right 3 months later. Definite V taper. And I was also comparing photos from about the middle period, about half of 3 months, and I can see a progression. You're going from my worst to the best. And so as I continue my health journey, my diet and exercise program, I do eat very low carb, carnivore style diet. I do eat carbs. I'm not no carb, but as I explained to you in my carnivore diet video, I do adhere to 90% of the carnivore diet, although I do eat some carbs. But recently, in the past week, I've been tracking everything on Chronometer just to make sure, because I really want to make sure my protein is up to a certain amount. But also another thing I want to add is over this period, this 5-month period from February till now, I had not been tracking anything on any tracker. So I'm not counting calories, I'm not tracking anything, but actually over the last week, I've begun tracking because I want to get more serious about making sure I get so much protein. Like I'm aiming towards about 160 to 170 grams of protein a day. And right now, currently, or over the last week, I've begun to distribute those a little more evenly. So I usually have my largest meal as the first meal, and then the last meal usually is pretty large, and then I have maybe 1 or 2 meals in between that are a little smaller. And I make sure that my 160 to 170 grams of protein are distributed among those 3 or 4 meals, but I make 2 of them more. So I make sure that the first meal is at least 40 to 50, usually it's about 50 grams of protein, and about 40 to 50 grams of protein for my last meal. And then in between, maybe 20 to 30 grams in there, or maybe 40 grams somewhere. So right now, since I'm getting a little more serious about it, I am tracking using Chronometer, and I am really looking at my macros. Mostly, I'm concerned with a certain amount of protein that I'm striving for every day, and then I can fill in the fat and carbohydrates after that. Since I'm very low carb, I tend to stay almost always under 100 grams of carbs a day. Although I do some snacking and things at night, and so sometimes I'll exceed that. But as you can see by my latest photo here, of course I'm not overdoing it with snacking, because if I were overdoing it with snacking and cheating too much, I wouldn't look like that now. So I'm really excited about this, and I'm going to keep you posted on what comes next. You know, I'll do maybe a 6-month later or something coming up. So stay tuned to my channel and subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, you can go to the Well-Rounded Pianist, where I'm a professor of piano, and I will be your personal professor at the Well-Rounded Pianist. So thank you for viewing this video, and I want to keep you updated. So until we meet again.